David Gupple, Thinker Farmer here. This is the last day you'll see me in this particular setup orientation. This is my room at Green Pastures Farm, and today I'm packing up and moving to North Missouri to start work at the Powell Cattle Company. Today I wanted to do another series on the Farming Essentials segment that I've been doing on the channel. And today I want to talk about one primary concept, and that's proactivity. And as I answer this question, what my brain is mentally thinking is, if there's an individual in front of me and he said, what are the main and core things that I need to know if I'm going to succeed as a farmer as you see it? And I've already talked about identity, and proactivity is really a foundational concept to identity and some of the other things, and maybe one of the most important, if not the most important. So proactivity is a habit of, it's one of the 7 habits of highly successful people, according to Stephen Covey, and it essentially means that as an individual, you write your story. You are the programmer of your life, and you get to write the program, no one else does. The opposite of proactivity is reactivity, and reactivity essentially means that you don't accept that you're responsible for your life. You don't accept that you're the one that makes the core decisions for your life. You put the blame or you put the responsibility on other people, and so when they push or interact with you through various stimuli, you respond and react and make your decisions based on how they treat you. Proactivity believes that your life is based on timeless principles, and ultimately it's your decision how you respond to things. And this concept is so important because, to put it rather bluntly, farming isn't for losers. Farming has a lot of challenges. It has a lot of ups and downs. You have constant challenge, and even more difficult than just the everyday challenges, you have constant dynamic change on a farm, with ecosystems moving on, with life challenges moving on. And farming, generally speaking, requires a very balanced mindset to succeed. So before I proceed on, I want to make sure it's very clear what proactivity means. It means that if anything goes wrong in your life, it's ultimately your fault. If things don't work out well and life doesn't do you well, it is your responsibility. You can't blame it on your parents. You can't blame it on, your boss, your coworkers, your climate. If your farm does or does not succeed, it is because of you and you alone. It is your choice to put forth the effort to succeed. So we've kind of defined what proactivity is, and this is by way of testimony. In my life, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm still growing and learning. But one thing, as I look back over the last decade plus, is that in all the mistakes and failures I've made, I've always chosen positive responsibility. I've always chosen to believe that if anything went wrong, it was my fault. And I've always believed that it was up to me to make the right choices and move forward. And that has allowed me to grow through anything and everything. If things go well, I learn from it. If things go really poorly, I simply dig down deep and say, why did this happen? What could I have done to make things better? And so if you're a proactive individual, everything you face in life is only going to move you forward as far as character goes. And character is ultimately what determines your destiny and your success. So what are the differences between proactivity and reactivity? I kind of touched on this earlier, but proactivity essentially means that you start from a principled base. You believe that there are simply timeless principles that have existed, whether it's what goes around comes around, being sincere and genuine always pays off, being straight and honest with individuals, putting others ahead of yourself in order to grow as an individual. Timeless principles are what dictate how you make your decisions in a proactive mindset. In a reactive mindset, what dictates your decisions is your peers. So It's principles versus peers. A proactive person is basing his life on principles. A reactive person is making his decisions based on what his peers think. And peers are going to come and go. People will die. People will move on with their lives. People will disappoint you, irritate you, frustrate you. You'll be enthusiastic about everything they've told you, and then you may be disenfranchised 6 months or a year later. So peers are always, if you want your life to be a roller coaster and live in a reactive mindset, you're going to base your mindset on peers. And it's a lot easier to do in the moment to simply look at what everybody around you thinks and base your decisions on that. But ultimately, if you want to chart a steady course through your life and go somewhere, you're going to base your decisions on principles. So you get with a principle base, you're essentially changing your narrative source completely from being based on peers to a totally separate worldview. With a peer-based mindset, your view is always going to be changing, but it's going to stay in the same overall worldview. And with a principle-based mindset, you're ultimately going to have a very steady, very predictable outcome. With a peer-based mindset, you're going to constantly be changing. So what are the ultimate results other than that of choosing a proactive mindset? So I wrote down a couple things here. One is you're going to see the world differently. Everything that happens to you in your life, you're going to view it as an opportunity to move forward. Even when bad things happen, you're going to view them for the better because you only see opportunity to grow and develop as an individual, because decisions are based on you, not on the world around you. And the nature of your thinking will change, and you will have more freedom and more peace, because once you realize that you can take responsibility, even though you can't control everything, you understand the only thing that you need to control is your response. And that gives you a lot of peace to let go of the bigger picture. And then I would just say, other than that, that will result in small momental changes in how you process information. Instead of focusing on things you can't control that are outside your circle of influence, you're going to focus on things that are within your control. And ultimately, that means that every obstacle you face in life, or what every other person would call an obstacle, you're going to view it as a stepping stone to moving forward in life. Defeat is no longer defeat. As Winston Churchill would say, success is not final and failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Or another quote from him is that the optimist, or rather the pessimist, sees the difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. And I'm going to leave it at that, gang. Proactivity, study it, understand what it means, and then as you're going through your days, be self-aware of whether you're being proactive or reactive in your day-to-day decisions. And with that, gang, I wish you all blessings for the journey and keep it real.